Hey, what's up, guys? So in this video, I want to talk to you about motivation, whether or not it's a thought or it's a feeling. Because we have to understand what it is, because we know that motivation is one of the primary drivers for us to work out, for us to do our daily practice. And motivation is constantly going up and down for everybody. So I think about this a lot, because if we are always motivated, then we're always doing the things that we want to do. And if it comes to like our daily practice, our daily training, we're always getting it done, But it's this lack of motivation that causes us to fall off the wagon, causes us to get out of shape, and then everything else kind of goes downhill from there. So if you look at motivation, if you think that motivation is a thought, then I want you to think about this. Imagine that you wake up in the morning time and in your mind, you think, I need to go work out because I already planned to do it. And then now you're making yourself get up. And then as this process is happening, your body doesn't have the energy. Your body doesn't feel like it. You want to feel energized and strong, but there's this heaviness, this sluggishness, this stiffness, and you're like, whoa, this is gonna feel tough. And so from there, we think in our mind, man, maybe I'm just going to go and do it a little later today, because I don't want to miss it, but I'm just not really feeling it right now. And so this is why when we look at this, motivation is not just thoughts. Motivation is actually a feeling in our body. Because when we want to do something, if we don't do it, then it's because we don't feel like doing it. It's not because we don't want to do it. Because we look at our intention, if we want to do something, there's already this thought in our head that goes, I want to do this thing. But now taking action is an entirely different thing. And so often we find that we don't feel like doing it. I mean, just think about how often a person thinks about that in their mind, where they want to do something, but they don't feel like doing it. A friend invites us to go out at night, but now it's time to go out. We got to get ready, and we don't feel like doing it, right? We say, I'm not really motivated, Or we wake up in the morning, we don't feel like exercising. We have dishes and we have chores to do. We need to go clean up our room, but we don't feel like doing it. I started to realize that motivation is more about feelings than it is about thoughts. That doesn't mean that thoughts aren't involved, because things that we think of can also make us feel, just like things that we feel can make us think things. But the core of what needs to happen in our body in order for us to take the action, in order for us to have motivation, is actually feeling. So that means if we have thoughts in our head that's like, I have this reason to do it, I have this reason to do it, I already told this, I'm accountable, all of these reasons, but in our body isn't aligned to these reasons, which basically means our body isn't feeling that energy. Our body isn't feeling this motivation, this drive to do it. Then it becomes really, really difficult. We can still drag ourselves. We can still force ourselves. But as we all know, it's not really easy to constantly every single day force ourselves. We can do it sometimes, it works. We literally drag our asses up, right? Tell ourselves, no, I'm just gonna go and do it. But to do it every single day, forcing ourselves, dragging ourselves, at some point, because it takes so much willpower. That's what it is. So much willpower. But at some point, one of the days, we're not going to want to do it, But if we can feel motivated all the time, then we don't have to force ourselves to do it, because we already have the feeling of wanting to do it. See, imagine, I think about this. Imagine that our bodies feel like exercising. Our bodies feel like doing our practice, doing our training. Imagine how that would be. If our body feels like doing it, then what that means is our body feels good, our body feels light, our body feels energized, our body feels calm and at ease. Because it's hard to want to do things if our body it doesn't feel comfortable, if it feels like tight, if it feels stiff, if it feels sluggish, if it feels like heavy, you know, if it feels really, really low in energy, if there's pains, if there's cramps, there's all of these discomforts in our body. It's really tough to get us to want to do something active with our body. We want to do inactive things when that happens. But imagine if our bodies feel good, then we would be motivated all the time, you know? And this is why, you know, once somebody builds momentum, once somebody stays on this, you know, on this momentum of doing their workouts for 2-3 weeks, whatever it is, it's easier. And this is because they changed the feeling in the body. So now they are more motivated, right? Now think about if we can go ahead and make it easy to change the feeling in the body. So this way, the body is constantly feeling like doing the stuff that we need to do. Then it makes everything easier. We're not constantly having to like fight the body. You know, so often we're like always in this resistance with our body. There's things that we want to do, but our body doesn't want to do it. You know, there's like this disconnection between the body and the mind. So one of the things to get rid of this resistance is to get the body to feel good. And one of the main things to feeling good is to get the flow of energy, the flow of blood and circulation in our body. Because this is our main transport. This is what makes the entire body function. Every single system in our body revolves around blood and oxygen and energy, everything, our organs and our tissues, every single thing, our cells, it all needs it. And if we aren't able to get it everywhere, then our body doesn't function properly. And so when we release tension in our body, we can increase the circulation in our body. But tension is just one thing. There are so many things that we can do to increase circulation. You know, this is why movement is so good. Because when we move increase circulation. This is also why when we move our lymphatic system. You know, the system that gets rid of our toxins and our waste and gets it out of our body. Our blood gets pumped by our heart, but our lymphatic system, the system is responsible for toxins and waste, it doesn't have a pump. The actual pump is physical movement, which is why when we are active, we stay healthier. But when we are sitting down and we're laying down, when we're less active, we get sick. Because literally our body isn't getting rid of the waste. And most of the time, inactiveness is also combined with bad eating. Not 100% of the time, but there's a combination. There's a relative relation between those two. So when you're looking at your practice, when you're looking at your exercise regimen, you know, you've got to make sure that you are increasing circulation in the body. This is why stretching is so important. This is why staying relaxed and letting go of tension is so important. This is why breath work is so powerful, increasing circulation of energy, blood, and oxygen. Why movement is good, cardiovascular training, cardio, you know, all of these things, when they combine together, they are all increasing circulation and strengthening the body in all kinds of ways. And when now our body can stay strong, and then we will always feel motivated to go and do the things that we need to do. So one of the things that I find is that when people ask me, like, how often do I exercise? You know, I tell people, I guess I exercise once a day, but in reality, I'm always moving around. I don't even see it as exercising, you know? It's like if I feel stiff, if I need to move my energy around, I just get up, I just move, you know? I can go do a burpee, I can go stretch, I can shake my arms around, I just do that. I don't call it exercising, even though I could do that for 5 minutes, I could do that for 10 minutes, you know? I stretch throughout the day, constantly. If I get up, there's tension, or if I'm sitting down, I'm like, oh, there's tension. What do? I just stretch, you know, just stretch, and I just move around and stuff. It's like, this isn't working out. This isn't a stretching routine. I'm just stretching. I'm just moving. When we get used to moving our body, when we get used to having a standard in the way our body feels and the way our body functions, now we have something to gauge it to. I think one of the issues is like people's standards for health and fitness is too low, you know? And I'm not talking about like the way they look. I'm not just talking about performance. Also just on the way they feel. It's, in other words, like, to be really blunt, people feel okay. People feel shitty and they think it's okay. People think it's okay to feel shitty. There you go. I was like, I think that is the major issue. Because if we don't feel okay, to feel tight, to feel low in energy, feel all this stuff, we would go do something about it. But people have this low standard on the way they feel. And I think one of the things is because people don't talk about feeling enough. They talk about striving for success, striving for material stuff, you know, striving for fame, striving for all this other stuff. And so those are the things that people care about. Those are the things that give this external value. So then the way we feel, it's like, oh, I don't give a shit if you feel good. That does nothing to do for me, you know? Go ahead and do something in the world. It's like, so therefore, there's not this value. So people don't really care about their feelings, even though it's obvious that if we feel better, everything else in our life improves. So we need to change our standard for the way we feel. And this is, I think, the biggest thing. When we are not feeling good, change it. Change it immediately, you know? Listen to your body. If your body feels tight, go ahead and stretch it. If your body feels low in energy, get up and move around. You know, if your body feels sluggish, get up and move around, jump around a little bit, breathe a little bit, you know? And make it a priority. Have it to be an actual standard for yourself. I think when we do this, we can get out of this, I'm only exercising for 30 days because it's New Year's, or, you know, I'm only exercising because I'm in this challenge, or I'm doing this contest, or I'm getting married, or I'm single now and I need to attract myself a girl or a guy or something, you know? No, these are just like excuses to get us to go and do something, but they don't last. We need to dive in deeper. We need to change our standard for how our body feels and the standard of the health of our body. You know, everything depends on it. So, hope this video helps you out. Leave the comments below. Let me know what you think.